All right, you guys, this is my first vlog or vlog. Is that how the kids say it? Is that right?
I'm not sure how you say it.
Okay, I'm just gonna call it a vlog. You know, there's a reason people call me Grandpa. So let's take a wrap around. Today's Friday. Hot as balls. You can see there's a bunch of fans.
How do you know my
outside.
balls are hot?
Oh, I know. We know, dude. We know. So what do we got? What are you working on here?
Well, good evening, Grant. Here I am today, struggling to get my car ready for 8.6 day. Long overdue refresh on this guy.
8.6 day, dude. That's like months away, man.
Yeah.
You got plenty of time, dude.
Impossible. If you're a Corolla guy, you know plenty of time means like...
He's ready for 8.6 day.
Who, the homeless dude on the bike? So yeah, I'd rather get started sooner than later because I actually have a long overdue refresh for this guy. Just the big parts of this refresh. So head gasket, oil pan reseal. If you've never done it before, you don't know how big a job that is. We're actually going to go Gixxer 1000 motorcycle ITBs. I'm having my buddy Bermuda Wire, who's local, who also did the beam swap harness on our customer car at the beginning of this year. He's building me a motorsports mil-spec grade harness. And then after all that, hopefully the car can run. We gotta get it tuned after that. So you can see why I'm stressing even though it's like 2 months, right?
That's a big project.
Yeah, big project. I gotta do this when I can, like Fridays after work. It's not like I, can dedicate like a whole day or weekend to this. By the way, we're having a really big 8.6 day this year in Fremont, California. Our good friend and customer Rico, he rented out a whole like antique venue for us, and he's partnering with Battle Garage.
It's like a 50s gas station. It's really cool. But actually, I'm curious. Like, where are we starting from? Like, maybe not everyone knows the background of this engine build or the car, even at least on the BG channel.
Yeah, 1985 Toyota Corolla GTS, GTS hatchback. I hate the term drift tax because I think no matter what, these cars have always been expensive, and I think rightfully so. And so when I bought this, just to give you guys a time frame, I think I bought this for $5,400 10 years ago. That was probably the high end of the spectrum for a GTS hatch. I bought this from the original owner. Going back, my interesting criteria had to be GTS. I was not down to do the GTS R5 nonsense. Red or white, I don't know why red or white. Had to be relatively unmodified. I still agree with that today. I think that was it. And then just the biggest plus, I bought this from the original owner. His name's Mr. Lawrence. Lived relatively next door in my neighborhood in San Jose. This was his graduation gift from his parents.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wait, since new or is it a used car?
No, brand new. So
damn.
He showed me a Polaroid 1985, his cap and gown right next to this car.
Dude, that's sick.
And a fully loaded car. I still have the option sheet, so he bought every single option, like AM, FM player, rock guard was optional. I think a fully loaded GTS has to have the sunroof and the LSD.
Did you say high school graduation or college graduation?
That one I'm trying to figure out.
Because like at the time, that's a big purchase, right? Brand new car, optioned out, GTS model.
Yeah, I forgot what the sticker sheet says, but like it's like a car today where you buy all the options and all of a sudden the car is like, how much is that car?
Right.
But yeah, fully optioned out GTS hatchback. Had to be a hatch. That was my other one. Because I'm initial D fanboy, like 100%.
When you say fully optioned out, there was what, like 3 options on 86s? So sunroof, AC, power steering.
No.
What else?
Dude, you wouldn't believe there was like 3M Scotch Guard.
Oh wow.
There's rock guard on the bottom.
There's a bunch of dealer add-ons.
I gotta take a look at that option sheet. It's been a long time since I've seen it.
That's cool. So what, are you the second owner?
Second owner.
Damn,
yeah,
look at that, guys.
Second owner this whole time. And
second owner A86, y'all. Look at this.
Yeah, and I guess the biggest thing, like, two key things about that transaction I remember was he made me promise that to take care of the car because like other people are gonna envy me, which I was like, no one's gonna envy me in this car. Little do we know, 10 years later, everyone's envious of this car, but he was like, yeah, everyone's gonna envy you and you need to take care of my car.
It was a pretty faded red hatchback then, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. He moved to Washington at one point, so it had some rust damage. It had a trailer hitch because he trailered his stuff home or to his new home in Washington. But like a lot of people have said that like I've lived up to my word and like totally taken care of the car. Grant and I have known each other for quite a while now, and you've seen like multiple iterations of this car.
Mm-hmm. Wait, this will be the second time you rebuilt this engine, right? What was it like when you first got the car? Let's say engine-wise.
I'm surprised it ran on 2 cylinders for so long.
Nice.
Like, I bought this, it was my daily driver for a long time, and at the time I was like, I'm just gonna leave it unmodified, right? You know how that goes. Yeah, I used to go to school in Sacramento, so just like a point of reference, that's a 4-hour round trip. So I would comfortably drive up to Sacramento, turn on the AC, and you know, guys, it's a rarity now, stock GTS hatch, but I think those things drive like fantastic.
It must have been a lot of fun.
Yeah, I had like really fond memories of
Not having to worry about like thieves and, you know, other shenanigans.
oh yeah, and then the car looked so poor because
Yeah.
of the paint. Like, I didn't care if it got scratched. I used to lay my tools on the roof.
No one knew what these were.
It would shock me if someone knew what this car was.
Mm-hmm.
It would shock me. Typically, it'd be like some dude who was like 10, 15 years older than me, and like with a like quizzical look on his face, like, this is a rare car, isn't it? And I'd be like, I'm surprised you know. But yeah, you were asking what was the rebuild like. So what was I doing? I knew the head gasket was leaking, and one of my coworkers at the time was like, hey, why don't you do a compression test before you just do the head gasket? And I was like, that's a great idea, Killer Chris. And so we did a compression test, and sure enough, the back two were terrible, like 40 and 20 PSI. And both me and Chris were like, can't believe this car ran so well on 2 cylinders.
Do you know how many miles it had at that point?
200 something. When I got the car, it already had 1 rebuild from the Toyota dealer.
It's actually kind of surprising.
Why? What do you?
Well, because it basically had gone through 2 rebuilds by the time it had 200,000 miles. Like, it seems like that's a lot of wear kind of quickly. You know?
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
I mean, you know, these engines spin such high RPM on the freeway, so I guess it kind of makes sense.
Oh, I guess that's another thing. Mr.
Yeah.
Lawrence liked to rev the crap out of this
Oh.
thing too. I remember on the road test, he was like, "Look," and then he revved it up to like 6, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
So he drove it hard, huh?
He drove it like he should have been, and he
Nice.
shifted like
That's
freaking
cool.
Takumi too, and I was like, Mr. Lawrence was like 60 something at the time. I was like, "Wow, you're driving this thing like this?"
Dude, that's legit.
Yeah. But I guess that's why I needed 2 rebuilds.
Have you brought the car back to him at any point just so you
No,
could see
I
it?
haven't. Yeah.
Where does he live? Is he still there? I see.
I don't know if he is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was on really rough times.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, when I bought the cars. So the story with the first rebuild, he had it done at the dealership, believe it or not. So even back then, oversized 3-rib pistons were discontinued for AE86. So they bought a donor short block, and they built that at the dealer. And they used oversized 3-rib pistons out of an MR2. I don't know why those would be 2 different part numbers, but they were back in the day. And so that's what this currently has in it. When it was my turn to rebuild it, I did all my measurements, found that the walls were still within spec, so I just needed to hone the cylinders and do a re-ring. But the head had a bunch of problems with it, so the head, the original head, sits in my garage now. And it's funny, this cylinder head, I had a supercharged first-gen Celica back in the day. This head was supposed to go on that car. And I got this head from Club 4AG. Somebody was selling a built and professionally ported head. The guy who actually ported it, he signed his name on the back, or engraved it. And it came with Toda valve springs, and it was like completely ported head.
Do you remember who this is?
Mr. Schubert's the one who signed it. I think it says Schubert 11 on it, so 2011.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I knew who that is.
Do you really?
Schubert. Yeah, I remember there's a performance guy on the forums with the Schubert name.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, because I used to study all the performance posts and threads a lot when I was in college. You know,
Yeah.
so I'd like obsessively read about them. I remember there's a guy named Schubert that was into performance that we'd kind of talk back and forth and
Oh,
stuff.
curious. I'm glad we're filming this, and I'm glad I find out. So it's been 7 years and 30,000 Miatas since then.
Damn, that's a.
Cool.
How do you feel about that, Dexter? You basically, when you got it, you refreshed in the bottom end, make sure the top end was okay, but not any big performance changes after that. Like, you didn't like go crazy on the cams or anything like that, right?
Oh, when I built it, I
Yeah.
bought a palm cam.
Okay, so you put palm cams
what's
on.
it called? From Take Aono, believe it or not. And huge Take Aono fanboy, so I'm embarrassed to say it, but I even kept the shipping label because like, oh my god, it's Take Aono. These are his cams. Take's probably out there blushing like, oh my god.
Okay, cool. So you did like a rebuild and like some mild modifications, some cams and stuff. You still had the stock ECU, things like that, right?
Yeah. So, I'd say a big detriment to the car was actually running the stock ECU for so long. And you noted it too, that the car would ping sometimes. And I saw it when I pulled the head off. There was hot spots.
Oh, really?
The pistons got hot, and I was like, whoa, shoot! I'm glad I didn't burn through the pistons running it like this.
Are you touching the bottom end, or are you just doing bolt-ons at this point?
So we'll go over where I'm at now.
Yeah.
So yeah, new OEM head gasket. I got a full gasket kit. I actually got a lot from Battle Garage. So yeah, I got a lot from Battle Garage recently.
Yeah, I was actually alarmed. Ezekiel didn't tell me his plans. I saw him buying a bunch of stuff. I was like, whoa, dude, what are you doing? You gotta save the money for the business, bro.
No. You said, what was it? You're very serious. You said, is this for a customer? I was like, no, it's for me. And I heard the concern.
Yeah, we talk about the struggles here all the time. So like, we gotta look out for each other.
Well, I appreciate it. Anyway, so full gasket kit. I guess the biggest thing you guys may or may not know, it's hard to seal a metal head gasket on here. The machine shop I used for the block actually wasn't very good, so the roughness on the block meant that my metal head gasket pretty much had like a seep since like forever. I learned recently, even Hasselgren agrees it's hard to seal a metal head gasket on a 4A. OEM Toyota gasket, which Hasselgren recommends.
It really is a lot less hassle, right? I mean, there's probably some small performance gains with the TRD one, like you get a little bit better quench and stuff like that, but I'd rather just know everything's gonna seal without having to worry about it too much.
Yeah. The OEM gasket kit's not even that expensive. Don't waste your time with anything less than the OEM gasket kit. Yeah, it's far more headache to deal with a cheap paper gasket than it is just to spend the extra freaking $50, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, if you want to zoom in, I got a bunch of other cool stuff. So there's a lot of stuff I replaced even though there's nothing wrong. So brand new ASEN water pump. I only use OEM water pumps. I've had plenty of problems with aftermarket ones. I think Takayuno even told us a story of buying a lifetime warranty one where the whole snout broke off.
And so for those who don't know, ASEN is the OEM provider for most of the Toyota water pumps and oil pumps.
Yeah, so same thing, ASEN Silvertop oil pump, which is a upgrade for a 16 valve. And like Grant said, this thing literally has a Toyota casting that somebody at ASEN used a die grinder to die grind off the Toyota, because the T and the A are still there. Yeah, I wanted to treat myself this time. I had some old, if you guys have seen my car before, I had some old HKS cam gears that I bought used. It looks like someone wiped one of them with brake clean. So I wanted to treat myself this time. Brand new HKS cam gears. And then of course you gotta have the matching belt, right? All from Battle Garage. So if you guys probably can't tell, HKS is my favorite company all the way since I was a young lad. So I painted all this HKS livery stuff myself, the old HKS logo. So I wanted like the real cam gears. Nice. Yeah, keep it going in the front end of the engine. Yeah, probably new like maintenance package from Battle Garage. So like the timing belt, tensioner pulley. These are manual tensioner, by the way. And then also you need the tensioner spring to match.
It looks like you've got the MRP N2 tensioner.
Oh man, completely forgot. We've had a 7AG car in the shop before, and Grant and I have personally seen how much this belt deflects, even at idle when the car is running. So this thing totally serves a purpose to, what's the purpose, Grant?
Well, this thing will start to resonate and it'll start to flap. You'll see it like twisting left and right, and it gets worse when you have like bigger cams and stuff. And then it gets extra worse when you have like a 7A or the taller engine where the belt is longer.
That's right.
So I think for any kind of performance 7A, it's like a necessity. 4As, it's good. I don't think you always have to have it, but 7A I definitely would want to have that because I wouldn't want my belt to fail from all the flapping, right?
All right, cool. I went upstairs because I forgot I also got some other important goodies. I'm going to Link standalone, which means that I'm also long overdue coil on plug. I'm hoping to do a sequential fuel and injection. SQ makes one too. I'm a sucker for like overseas, like bespoke stuff. So yeah, MRP coil on plug plate. Oh, beautiful, see? Beautiful.
Nice, that's a good color combo.
Yeah. So yeah, got this from Battle Garage. Another thing, what's in here, right?
What is in there?
It's a pencil.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, one NZ.
Nice.
One NZ coil pack, so I got 4 of these. I absolutely will not deal with any aftermarket coil packs. Just some background. Again, when I was a young lad, I apprenticed at Mercedes-Benz, so fair amount of time with Euro cars. And yeah, a lot of times you run an aftermarket coil pack, it'll still throw a misfire code even though like the car is doing fine. So I mean, even my Skyline, I run Nissan R35 coil
Dude,
packs.
I think when I was younger, I literally had better luck pulling used coil packs out of the junkyard. They were OEM versus like getting some new ones at the auto parts store.
Versus the auto parts store. No, 100%.
That's a really nice kit there. Yeah, it's funny. We're surrounded by these parts like literally every day, but then we don't get a chance to get intimate with them because we're so busy with just like the business operation side of it. So it's actually kind of sick to like see it unwrapped in person
like
on the car.
Yeah, on the car, right?
Yeah.
It's different on the car versus how prettier does that look on the car versus in my hand, right?
Yeah, yeah, or in like in a brown paper bag, which is usually how I'm used to seeing these parts. Yep. See?
You don't need a distributor cap anymore, so I got the, again from Battle Garage, the SQ distributor cap blanking plate.
I thought this was pretty interesting because, you know, when most people do ITBs on a 16 valve, they're using silver top ITBs off the 20 valve 4AG, and this is something completely different, isn't it?
Yeah, so, well, let me introduce it. So, Gixxer GSXR 1000 motorcycle ITBs. So, not carbs, ITBs. Just recently, I found out actually CBY has a car that has a Crystal Body Yokohama has a car running Gixxer ITBs. Why did I choose this? I see a lot of 20 valve cars. All that stuff to me is antiquated by now. How many of those linkages are all sloppy, and you're not going to buy that linkage anymore. And also because I'm a cool guy, I want to do some cool guy things and be different. That's 100% no joke. I want to be a cool guy. Everyone's got the 20 valve throttles. I want to be the different guy, so I'm going to run bike throttles. So yeah, I bought this from a company in the UK that I shall not name because I'm actually not very happy with them. They looks like a bloke or a chap welded this manifold together. 6 of the bolts I had to die grind out myself. They did not want to help me out. They included this atrocious looking gasket, which I'm not going to use. Again, right? Cheap gaskets.
But it was cheap as chips though, right?
It was cheap as chips, indeed. Spot on, spot on. So yeah, OEM Toyota metal gasket. If you guys don't know, because I'm a nerd, I'm a sucker for gaskets. So raised sealing edge, so the gasket seals only where it needs to be. And then also it's got this like printed material, so like even if you've got imperfections in the aluminum surface, this will actually help seal up some of those imperfections. So no nonsense like putting RTV or like Hylomar around these.
I don't think people talk about this enough, but this is supposed to meet a manufacturer warranty of what, at least 60,000 miles back then, right? Something like this. There is no warranty.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's put some of this stuff on. Hopefully by the end of the night we'll get these throttles on. It won't take all night. That's what they all say.
You can already imagine it making intake trumpet fart noises. Yeah, so I'm really excited for this because I personally feel that the ITBs on 86 is like half of the driving experience for me. So even if it's not even any faster, just the noise alone
yeah,
at higher RPM really makes it worth it.
Yeah.
So for me, since I got my car back in, was it 2008 or something, I was just trying to find the quickest way to get cool ITB noises and high RPMs, and blacktop 20 valve, for like $800 back then, that was the quickest way.
I was trying to find the quickest way to be Takumi.
Are you planning to keep the same cams on here too?
Yeah, I'm happy with the pond cams. Pre all of this, I made a 120 wheel and 100 foot-pounds of torque. That'll probably jump with proper management, but I'm happy with the cams.
Is this like the only option for Gixxer throttles? Like what else is there?
I think the modification they do to the throttles is pretty good, but manifolds, I think people are making them themselves. I know a local guy that made it himself. Yeah, which this looks very like homemade. So, what were you saying about throttle sizes? So these are 42 mil. What's a silver top and what's a black top?
I'm going off from memory here, but I think blacktop throttles are 45 millimeter and silver top is 42. I think I'll look that up. Okay. No, I don't have my phone to me, so I can't look it up. But what size is these? Are these
42?
42. Okay, so if that's the same size as silver top, that's like ideal because the blacktop throttles are actually too big for most 4AG engines. The reason they're the size they are is because they were a homologation special. So, Honda came out with VTEC in the 90s, and then Toyota was scrambling to keep up in their homologated race series, like Group A and things like that. So they came out with the 5 valve head, VVT, and also the 20 valve ITBs, but they were kind of getting their ass kicked still with the silver top when it came out. So the black top was like the last effort to try to keep up with Honda's incredible VTEC system back then. And so they had to use throttles even larger to get the absolute most out of the engine. But that still is like a little bit too big for a street car. So you'll actually find that if you run silver top throttles or similar size on a 4AG, you'll get better throttle response, a little bit better fuel economy, just an overall happier engine. You're not really going to miss the larger throttles.
Panic has some 52 mil ITBs for the beams. What do you think about that?
It would make sense that the because people put blacktop throttles on beams, and that people say it's kind of too choked off, and that makes sense because you know the engine's 400 cc's larger, so and it has like huge valves in the factory and stuff, so that makes sense.
I know you're an engine guy because you measure stuff in cc's. I don't know what a cc is. I'm just
sure you do. While you work on
his closed caption.
While you work on his Japanese cars here, dude, like we're surrounded by cc's.
Piece de resistance.
So what does this company do as far as modifying this?
Okay, so it's interesting. They modify these. Normally, they probably sit like this on the bike, and they open this way. So now, you're gonna sit like this on the car, and pretty much, like in a sense, open backwards. What did they do for these? So, looks like these get bored out to 42. I put the calipers in there, and whatever went in there, they get blocked off. And let's see, we're gonna run the Gixxer injectors. Hopefully that's a big enough injector for me. Otherwise I've seen people do this and then run the 4A fuel rail. So hopefully
I'm gonna take a leap here and say that those injectors are probably big enough, because if they're big enough for the flow that engine required for this size throttle, and you're using the same size throttles, then it'll probably be the same amount of fuel.
Okay, great. Well,
so you should be okay.
Well, let us hope
hopefully,
so.
Hopefully.
I don't want to spend any more money. I'm sorry, man.
Do you know how much the Gixxer, like how much horsepower made?
I don't.
Is it Gixxer 1000? You said?
It's 1,000. Yeah.
Okay, so it's
you
pretty similar.
You can get like Gixxer 750 throttles too.
I see.
I'll make sure to get the big bike.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, I think this will work out.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's the biggest modification they make. I think the biggest part's actually just boring these things out.
Let's see those bad boys on there.
Yeah. It's
what is this?
My favorite product, dry silicone spray.
Why are you doing that?
Because it helps everything. Like if you got rubber or silicone, it's non-conductive. It's not gonna harm the rubber or anything. If the engine sucks it up, it's not gonna. It's dry. The engine's not gonna suck it up, and it just helps everything assemble easier. Really important for like O-rings and stuff where it's easy to tear. This is great to use, right?
Got it. What are you doing for velocity stacks?
So they come with some stacks. I also bought I bought all the options for this, so I'm actually gonna run the same Piper Cross filter as you. So they have a custom plate,
nice.
And then they have some, unfortunately, really rough-looking 50 mil trumpets that'll fit under the Piper Cross. But yeah, I guess once I get all like this stuff on, yeah, I hope so, man. I can't wait to freaking hear this thing sing. You know,
it's gonna be sick.
Yeah. And I guess this was kind of my vision, right? Being like making something look unique, because what's it called? Like going coil on plug, and then some like throttles probably that are not very popular. Like already the package looks very
interesting, right?
Erotic.
Yeah.
I mean exotic.
So what's next?
What's next? I'm gonna be here tomorrow degreeing the cams. Bermuda wire Jerry, I think he's gonna be here tomorrow. We're doing like a mil-spec bulkhead, and then he's gotta deep-in that thing, and he's
putting the infamous firewall connector.
Yeah, the firewall connector. Yeah, I think he's gonna do something custom with that. I bought another set of Group A headers from Battle Garage too, and I'm getting those ceramic coated locally at Sanderson Headers. If you guys are wondering why I bought the same header twice, was because you guys can thank me that your Martellius headers all fit now, because literally header number 0 I test fit on this car. And so yeah, finally now that this car is getting the big refresh, I thought I'd treat myself and get the most updated version of the headers.
Well, yeah, I mean, thanks for giving us a background on the car and where it's headed. I can't wait for the next update.
Yeah, appreciate it, you guys. And I am open to all the advice and suggestions, because a lot of this is still like new territory for me. But
yeah, I mean, the part I really appreciate is the tips and tricks that you found, getting engines to seal and like the silicone lube and stuff, because I'm primarily a bench racer. I've only built a few different cars, but I know a lot about the theory, right? Those are a lot of like helpful tips that not many people know unless you've been building so many of these engines, Yeah. So yeah, definitely good input.
So yeah, Grant, I appreciate you and Battle Garage, just because a lot of these parts that are from all over the world, Japan, New Zealand, I didn't realize you guys would have them right here in stock.
Yeah, it's not a big warehouse, but somehow we are able to cram in a lot.
Yeah, it's always cool because I even have an account with our local Toyota dealer, but sometimes you guys probably know, dealing with the parts counter guy most of the time doesn't want to deal with 30-year-old stuff.
No, it's not the front wheel drive model, it's this one, right?
Yeah. And then they'll be like, I remember one time, anecdote, I remember one time, long time ago, that the parts guy was like, well, I'm gonna have to bring out the paper book. And I remember talking to him. He was like, "Is this a Celica or a Supra?" And I remember saying to him, "Or it could be a Celica Supra." And he like slammed the book, and he was like, "Don't do that with me."
Oh my god, dude.
So yeah, that's like the kind of like part stories I go through, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, thanks for showing us around, man. This is really exciting. It's really cool to see this car get some major updates, you know, especially since we've been so busy the last few years, you know, doing on this kind of adventure that we've been sharing, that we haven't really been able to focus a lot of time on our own cars.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of nice that we're all starting to be able to like focus back on the reasons why we got into this in the first place, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
And then, yeah, hopefully you guys will get to see Grant's doing a big refresh on his personal car too.
Yeah, I guess I could just briefly mention that, but the cars at the frame shop right now, they might be cutting off like whole front sections and putting on new sections from like, you know, Toyota, which is pretty crazy that we're able to track that down. But dude, I gotta be honest with you, the guy got COVID, so it's on hold right now. Hopefully he's okay. Yeah.
Oh, man.
But anyways, yeah, hopefully we'll have some updates on that front too. Cool, man. Well, thanks again.
Yeah, appreciate the support, you guys. Let us know what you want to see in the next video. Catch you guys next time.